How's it going, guys? Tom with Breakless TV here, bringing you a video on how to recover better in Multiversus. So first, let's start by what I mean exactly to recover. It seems like an obvious question, but not necessarily. So when I am thinking about recovery, I'm thinking about getting back to neutral. This is what's considered neutral. Neutral is a place where both you and your opponent has full control over their character. Neither is at a disadvantage. Right here, he's at a disadvantage. You know, I'm at the advantage. But you're trying to return this spot. And this does not necessarily just mean touching the top of the stage. It means touching the top of the stage and being able to get your bearings. Because if you're landing right next to someone who's attacking you immediately, you didn't recover, right? You just got yourself back into that bad situation again. So the foundation of recovering is understanding your air options. This is in the basic tutorial, but I'm just going to touch on it. So in the air, you can do 2 jumps, 2 specials, and 2 dodges. After that, that's everything you can do before touching the ground or the wall again. Now, why that's important is you got to think about these are resources, and you have a lot of them. But if you lose all those resources while trying to recover, you die. That's more or less that's it. If you're above the stage, you can be okay, but it's since you're in such a bad spot, if you don't have any tools and you're just trying to fall back to stage, you're gonna get caught in, bugs trying to do stuff like this. You're gonna get juggled relentlessly. So being out here is not that scary. You have a lot of options. But you need to be conscious of when you start running out of those, because if you're out here and you run out of options, you die. I mean that's it. I can't recover. I have nothing left to do. That's a win condition for some characters.
Now you just made...
So another thing to understand is you want to understand Knockback Influence. What's called in this game. In Smash, it's called DI or Directional Influence. There's perks that affect it. Tasmanian Trigonometry gives you more Knockback Influence, but what that means is when you get launched by an attack, it sends you in a certain direction. It's different for every attack, right? So this one is gonna send me straight up. But based on the direction I'm holding when I get hit by that attack, I can influence where it knocks me back. So for this try again, look at the controller display and you'll see I'm not holding anything. I'm holding neutral. I'm just letting him kick me. Get a fresh restart to the case, and it kills me, right? Now for this next one, I'm going to hold down towards the stage, and it's going to influence my knockback a little bit. So at this same 170%, something that would have killed me, instead doesn't. I'll show you that again. So just simply by holding down saves me. I can also hold away from the stage, and it'll curve that knockback a little bit and make me safer. It's a really hard thing to think about, especially for beginners. It's just like another thing you're adding on your mental stack of things to remember. But I would say as a general rule, if you just hold towards the stage, you're at least doing something. Certain attacks, if it's sending you straight up, you kind of want to go towards the edge of the screen. But if you just think, okay, I need to be holding towards the stage while I'm getting hit, that'll help you tremendously. So there's another mechanic that I don't see explained in any of these tutorials, but fortunately it's the same as Smash, so I noticed it very quickly, and that's can stop your air momentum when you're hit by an attack. Let me show you what that means. So if I do nothing, I'm not going to do DI, not to complicate it, and he hits me, it kills me. Alright, let's show that again from over here. It kills me, I die. But if you notice at the end there, and it's kind of hard to see in the corner of the screen, Bugs is actually regaining control. I'm regaining control of my character. And the way this game works is if you input an attack while you have some sort of momentum, or if you attack, dodge, jump, if you do something while you have that sort of momentum, it's going to stop that momentum. So, what can I do in this situation? What's the best thing? Well, first let me show you what it looks like if I'm hitting down air, right? I'm mashing down air, and I live. Simply because I hit that attack to stop that momentum. This is me just, oh, bad DI. Let him hit me, holding forward. Oh. Let him hit me, holding forward. I died, right? Holding forward, hitting down air. Bad DI. I live. Simply because I'm doing something to stop his momentum. So, this works with, I'll show you, it works with a dodge. This time I'm going to mash dodge. Works with dodge. It works with a jump. Show you that as well. Sometimes that's a little scary when you're at the top of the screen. But the thing to take away from this is when you get knocked back like that, I want you to be, in general, mashing attack. Y attack, I just showed you dodge and jump works. And there are some situations where you might want to do this, but you don't want to spend those resources off stage. So if I'm getting hit like that, I'm mashing attack. Find whatever your quickest attack is, whatever's going to come out the fastest, and I want you to be mashing that attack to try to stop your momentum as soon as possible, and that'll stop you from dying quite as quickly as you might otherwise. So let's talk about, there are 3 zones of recovery, the way I see it. You have this zone up here where you're stuck above the stage trying to get down. You have kind of this whole quadrant where you're same kind of deal, but there's nothing below you and you're trying to recover horizontally. And then the last one is you're down here and you're trying to recover down below the stage. So this first one, your job, you want to get back to the stage, right? A lot of times I see people, you launch them straight up and they want to get back to the stage as fast as possible. They don't want to be up there, they're uncomfortable, they're scared, and they try to come straight back down. The problem is that's incredibly predictable, and that's generally where your enemy is. What I like to recommend when you're in this situation, and it's character dependent a little bit, make yourself some space. Get out of there as horizontally as possible, get away from the opponent, and then try to recover. If you're fighting someone with really good forward air attacks, someone like Garnet, she's got some pretty good forward airs, you know, it might be better to recover straight down on top of her. Or if you're fighting someone like Bugs, where he's got this really oppressive bat move, you don't want to recover on top of him. You know, it can change a little bit. But the main point I'm going to tell you here is, you know, think about what your opponent wants to do, how they want to stop you from recovering. And, you know, just simply do the opposite. You know, not so simple. The other thing is, if you get in that juggle situation where Bugs is here and he's hitting you with the bat over and over again, you only have so many resources, right? You have your 2 jumps, your 2 dodges, and your 2 special attacks. Once you've used those, if you're out of them, he's going to juggle you forever. So really, don't panic. Don't start hitting, oh, I'm going to jump and dodge and do, you know, hit all your buttons. Try to have a plan and save some of your resources if your plan fails, and you can have another plan. A lot of times I see people, you know, they're getting juggled and then they try to jump away from it and then they just get hit again, and then they try to dodge early and then they get hit again, and suddenly you have no resources and you basically lost the stock against like a good Bugs player. You're just going to lose that stock. You're never coming back to the stage. So the next one I'm going to talk about is recovering off the side of the stage. So, oh, gotta cancel my momentum. So,
That's gonna hurt in the morning. I'll take a whack at it.
a lot of times, the newer player way to get back to stage is they want to come directly straight back. But as we just talked about, that is wildly predictable, especially to an experienced player. They're going to, every time they knock you back, they're going to take in how you recover. They're going to take that, they're going to put that in their brain, and they're going to start collecting that data. And eventually they're going to have enough, oh, this person, every time I throw them off the stage, they're scared and they want to come directly back to the stage, and they're going to use that against you. So my advice here is, you know, change your zone to something that you're more comfortable with as your character. It's different as every character, but also you're more comfortable with against your enemy. So you get thrown out here, maybe I want to recover really high. Just something different. I know my opponent doesn't really have good upward attacks. I feel comfortable doing that. Or, you know, other great option is drop low. You know, there's nothing wrong with coming down here. There's some scary spikes and stuff that can happen, but you want to be mixing up your attacks so that your opponent isn't just launching you out there, chasing you, and getting free kills. So the last area I'm going to talk about is this below area, and I'm actually going to swap to LeBron to show this a little bit better. So, this wall down here is more or less as good as recovering to the ground. So if I'm out here, I use all my jumps, I use my specials, and I touch the wall, I get them all back. I'm back in business. You can do this as many times as you want. So, sure, you're close to the death zone, but it's really not that scary of a spot. You get all your tools back, and you can really kind of formulate your plan of how you're going to get back on the stage. You know, you're going to have characters here trying to spike you and stuff, but this isn't so bad. The reason I chose LeBron is his base wall cling doesn't have any slide, but as you continue to hold onto this wall, you're going to start sliding. As you continue to slide, you'll get wall fatigue. Wall fatigue is going to do a few things. It's going to drain your stamina, for one. So now if I dodge, I won't have any invulnerability. But I can stay here forever still, you know. And it's also going to make it so you don't get your jumps and your dodges back. Once I spend those two jumps, and I'll show you guys again once it starts to wall cling. Once you spend those two dodges, even if you come back to the wall, if you're wall fatigued, you're not going to get those dodges back. So look at how long I have before I hit wall fatigue, where I can play down here and it's not a big deal. But I got no jumps, I have no dodges. You hear it clicking, I'm dead. So what I recommend down here, just take your time. I'll swap to a character with some wall slide. But this is a little bit of a scary spot. Like, you don't want to start the game and run down here because it's fun, but it's not that bad. You can hang out here for a really long time. You have a lot of play. Come back. Go back over here. Use your special. You have all sorts of different options to come back to stage that don't just include, oh crap, I'm down here. I'm scared. I got to get back to stage as fast as possible. Because people are going to be looking for that and you're going to get spiked. Last thing I'm going to touch on you guys, touch on for you guys, is the biggest part of recovery is avoiding patterns. The new players to Smash, they do, without fail, they do the same thing every time. You launch them off stage, they start mashing jump. It's the first thing they do. If you watch in this game, next time you play, watch what people do when you throw them off stage. I would bet 90% of the time the first thing they're going to do is jump. I don't know what it is. There's something human about us where we're scared of the pit. The pit is down. I want to jump. I want to get away from the pit. The problem with that is it's very, very predictable. If I see someone get launched off stage and jump 2 times in a row, I'm gearing up the jump as their next recovery option, and I'm going to try to punish it. So I'm going to kind of demonstrate that with the bot here. The best thing I can get the bot to do, and this is equally as bad, is every time I throw him off stage, I'm going to start with this forward air. He's going to dodge forward. It's just what the bot's programmed to do. But this is also something I can notice in a game, is that, oh, every time I throw my opponent off stage, he's dodging forward. You know, using the recovery, doesn't matter. And if I go straight for him, I'm going to miss it. But I know this bug's dodges forward every time I throw him off because he's scared. All I have to do is practice that spacing, wait for it, and then he's dead. I promise if you start thinking about your play and what you do when you recover, you're going to start noticing patterns like this. You think, I get spiked all the time by bugs. He's OP. His down spike is too strong. But then you take a step back and you go, wait, I dodge every time I get thrown off the stage. And all it takes is for your opponent to recognize that, and it's incredibly repeatable. This could be any person that I fight against. You would not believe how common it is that everyone has little patterns about how they recover. So guys, that's my video on how to recover better. I hope you could learn something from it. Really, just try to break up those patterns. It's really human in us to just do the same thing every time, do what makes you feel safe. But just by switching it up and kind of understanding the different ways you can recover and what your opponent's trying to do, what you're trying to do, will recover far more often and get killed at far higher won't get killed at lower percentages as often because they're really going to need to ring you out completely to finish that stock up. All right, guys. So subscribe, leave a like. It helps the channel immensely. If you guys leave a comment, if you have any questions, I read all of them. I try to respond to every single comment. And thanks a lot for watching to the end, and good luck out there.